So you and your party have asked for the Prime Minister's resignation because he did not auction mines, but he okayed the idea of allocating mines. Your state governments in 3 states, 3 opposition rule states, 2 of yours and 1 of the CPM did the very same. Why demand? Are you charging the Prime Minister with corruption?
I'm very glad that you've asked me this question. State governments make recommendations. They were sent a letter about auction. They replied to that by saying protect the interests of the state. Now, what was the interest of the state? If they are sitting on coal mines, their interest will be that industries like steel, like cement, like power should come up in their state. It should not be that, the colonial regime will come back, somebody will come and bid for that coal block and take the coal outside the state and set up an industry somewhere else. That was the colonial practice. It cannot work anymore. So what was the challenge before the government of India as far as auction was concerned? The challenge before the government of India was to look at this demand of the states, look at the process of auction and work out a harmonious formula under which the interests of the states could have been protected. Now, to answer your question directly, states are merely recommendatory bodies. The Prime Minister was the coal minister. The ultimate decision is of the person who is sitting at the top. He cannot say, my undersecretary wrote me a letter, he wrote a note, what could I do? I had to go by the undersecretary's. No. If I sign a file as a minister, if I sign the file as a Prime Minister, I take the full responsibility for it. I can't hide behind somebody making a recommendation, differing with it. No, it's your responsibility. 2, let me also make this point, that there were many coal blocks which were allotted without any recommendation from the state government. Why was it done? Under what pressure? And the additional point which I'd like to make is that when all this was happening and large number of coal blocks were being allotted to private parties, you look at the commodity prices then, coal was in the same category as gold. It had become as precious as gold. And you give it to any company, any individual, his worth in the market will go up. Same thing that happened with the spectrum in 2G. And we know how some companies utilize this to sell their shares in the market at premium prices.
Yashwantji, let me ask you a direct question. You've demanded the Prime Minister's resignation. This is a very serious demand. Do you think that the Prime Minister of India is guilty of an act of omission, or do you think that he's corrupt?
He has taken decisions which, according to the Prevention of Corruption Act, fall within the mischief of that act. That public policy, public decisions bereft of public interest amount to abuse of authority, abuse of office, and comes within the mischief of the Prevention of Corruption Act. And let me make it very clear that the Prevention of Corruption Act no more lays down that you must have directly benefited from the abuse of that office. Even if you cause benefit to somebody else as a result of your action, you are guilty.
Okay, now what if your main demand of the Prime Minister's resignation is not met? Will you settle for a JPC?
There is no offer of JPC at the moment, so why are you asking me that question? It's a hypothetical question at this point of time, but we are demanding seriously, after deliberate consideration, that the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, must resign. And we'll stand by that demand. Let's see what happens and how the government responds.
Are you in a position to assure our viewers and assure the people at large that whatever remains of this monsoon session, there will be some business, or should we give up hope of all business being conducted throughout this session now?
Parliament will be functioning according to rules if the government follows the rules. If the government functions according to the rules of business, then Parliament will also function as under the rules of business. Under which rule is corruption allowed? You are talking to me about rules of Parliament? Under which rule is corruption allowed in government? And under which rule does it say that the Prime Minister will shut his eyes and preside over a vast corrupt empire?
Sir, for talking to us, thank you very much. So that was Yashwant Sinha ji vigorously demanding the Prime Minister's resignation. He believes that it is not enough for the Prime Minister. He should have acted to prevent. This is Javed and with camera person Alok Bhatnagar. This is Javed Ansari for Headlines Today.